Right. So, in today's video, I'm going to discuss about two differences in context to Java and as well as .NET applications. Especially, this is something required as part of our application programming training, which I'm conducting now. Because application programming training is what something which I'm conducting for last couple of weeks. In this regard, so now whoever are attending this application programming training, so these people should have an understanding over how different Java and .NET applications work. Because Java, is widely across industries we are using for a very long time. In context to the Java part itself is concerned, we have even different versions of Java we have, right? Standard edition, enterprise edition, etc. At the same time, even .NET is also widely used across industries where whatever the services in context to .NET, either it can be VB, ASP, C Sharp, etc. All that. So even .NET applications widely used across industries. So being a learner, when we are working on application programming, while you are learning the course called application programming, it's always important for us to understand the difference between Java and .NET. So when it comes to the Java application, as in when we see, like we'll be having three different layers in any application, you know that. One is presentation layer, what you can see over here, whatever the HTML screens we have created, right? So all these things are comes under the presentation layer part, right? So whatever the HTML, at the same time, cascading style sheets, Bootstrap or Angular JS. Now and then we are widely using Angular JS as a for JavaScripting. This is an extension of JavaScripting. Angular JS we are using for front-end development. At the same time, to have some queries and all the everything, jQuery is what something which we are using. In connect to that, we are using even JavaScripting also, because when we go for scripting, there must be some scripting language which must be available. Okay, this is where generally JavaScripting comes into picture. So these are the presentation layers, what we can see over here. Next, this is where generally middle layer or a business or application or business logic layer, where when we go for Java targeted applications, now and then we are using different Spring Boot, at the same time, the kind of Spring JPAs, at the same time, the kind of data repositories, followed by the kind of service objects and entities, domain objects, right? So all these things we are using under the mid layer. Right? This is where business or logic layer come into picture from the Java applications point of view. But whereas when we are comparing this with .NET applications, .NET ADO, .NET WWF, WCF, right? So what are the required entity frameworks and velocity, right? So all these things are comes under the middle layer in context to the .NET applications when we try to understand the comparison. But as far as the connectivity itself is concerned, there are few common technologies which normally we see. One is API, and second XML and web services. These are the common technologies irrespective of the Java application we are working or .NET application. RESTful API or SOAP API, Web API, and all everything will be used to develop a communication between two different applications. You know that because in the last session I have explained that to you. In connect to that, even we discussed, we need to know about different files, file formats like XML and JSON file formats, right? So all these things will be comes under this category. So means if you want to connect with any kind of web application, web API is what something which normally are we using to connect with it. The kind of file formats, either it can be XML or JSON and all everything will be used here. So these are all something which are used for the connectivity purpose. Next one about the database part. So when we are talking about the database, this is where application database come into picture, whatever the existing databases to be have, whatever the database which is essentially required for us to perform. Multiple databases we can use, of course, like Oracle or SQL, all that. But generally for Java applications, which normally we use Oracle as a database, in general, I'm not specifying 100%, but in general, Oracle is what something which normally we will be using. Whereas when it comes to the .NET itself is concerned, we majorly focusing on the SQL Server part. This is the targeted area where we focus more on. So this is what a broadly context of understanding when you see from Java to .NET application development, one should understand. So as part of learning application programming course, right? So as you have enrolled for application programming course when you are attending, understanding about different applications, majorly, of course. If you are going for data analysis related, that's a different thing. But normally for web applications, client server, enterprise applications and all, understanding the difference between targeted Java application and targeted .NET application, the differences one should understand. This is what something today's session is all about. If you have any questions, please go ahead.